I want you to think about the most captivating man you have ever met. Not the most handsome, not the most successful, the one you could not stop thinking about. The one who stayed in your mind long after the conversation ended. The one you found yourself mentioning to friends for no particular reason. The one whose attention felt different from everyone else's. He probably wasn't the most attractive man in the room, but there was something about him that made every other man feel smaller by comparison. I have asked hundreds of women this question over the years, and the answers are always different on the surface. But underneath, always the same. Always one thing. Today I'm going to tell you exactly what that thing is, and once you see it, you will recognize it everywhere, and never be able to unsee it. Stay with me. Before I tell you what the trait is, I want to tell you what it isn't. It isn't confidence, though men who have this trait are usually confident. It isn't success, though they are often successful. It isn't charm, though they are usually charming. Those things are symptoms. What I'm talking about is the root. The one quality that produces all of those things naturally, without effort, without performance. I have seen this trait in men of every age, every background, every profession. I have seen it in quiet men and loud men, in wealthy men and ordinary men. And I have watched women, smart, discerning, emotionally mature women, become completely captivated by men who had almost nothing else going for them, simply because they had this. I want to tell you about a woman named Catherine. She was 58 when she came to me. She had been divorced for 6 years and had dated several men since, none of whom had held her attention for long. Then she met someone at a friend's dinner party. She described him as unremarkable at first glance. Average height, quiet, not the kind of man who commanded a room. But by the end of the evening, she could not stop watching him, and she had no idea why. She told me, "Sarah, I don't even know what happened. I just know I haven't thought about anyone like this in years." I asked her one question. I said, "When he talked to you, what did it feel like?" She paused for a long time. Then she said, "It felt like I was the only person in the world." That was it. That was the trait. Not what he said, not how he looked. The way he made her feel seen, completely, unhurriedly, without agenda, in a world where almost no one does that anymore. The trait is presence. But not the word the way self-help books use it. Real presence. The kind that is increasingly rare. The kind that most men, and most people, have completely lost in the age of constant distraction. Real presence means when he is with you, he is entirely with you. No part of his attention is elsewhere. His phone does not exist. The room does not exist. You are what exists. This sounds simple. It is almost extinct. Think about how often you speak to someone and feel, even subtly, that they are partially somewhere else. Half listening, half present, processing what they want to say next instead of actually hearing you. Now think about the last time someone gave you their complete, undivided, unhurried attention. How it felt, how rare it was, how much you wanted to stay in that person's company. That is what women obsess over. Not abs, not status, not smooth words. The man who makes her feel like the most interesting person in the room, without trying, without performing. That man becomes unforgettable. And here is what makes it so powerful. It cannot be faked. The moment a man tries to perform presence, it disappears. It only exists when it is real. When he is genuinely, deeply interested in who you are. Why don't more men have this? Why is real presence so rare? Because the world has made distraction the default. Because phones have rewired the ability to sit with one thing, one person, without reaching for something else. Most men today are physically present and mentally scattered. Their bodies are in the room, but their attention is fractured across a dozen other places. And women feel that absence even when they cannot name it. The man with real presence is the man who has, consciously or not, resisted that. Who can sit across from a woman and give her the rarest thing available in the modern world, his complete attention. Uninterrupted, unhurried. Without checking his phone, scanning the room, or thinking about what comes next. Just her. Women do not obsess over that man because he is special. They obsess over him because he makes them feel special. And feeling truly seen is one of the deepest human needs there is. How do you recognize this trait when you encounter it? Here is what it looks like in practice. He asks questions and actually waits for the answer. Not politely, not while formulating his next point. He waits, and then responds to what you actually said, not what he expected you to say. He remembers things, small things, something you mentioned once, weeks ago, because he was actually listening when you said it, not performing listening while thinking about something else. He is not in a hurry. His energy is not rushing toward the next thing. When he is with you, the conversation does not feel like it is competing with his schedule. And perhaps most powerfully, he notices you. Not just what you say, how you say it. The moment your energy shifts. The thing you almost said but didn't. He catches what most people miss entirely. Catherine told me. He remembered that I had mentioned my mother's garden. 3 weeks later, he asked about it, just like that, as if it mattered. Because to him, it did. That is presence. That is the trait. Small, consistent, genuine attention to the person in front of him. It costs nothing. It is worth everything. Here is the psychological reason women become obsessed with men who have this trait. When someone gives us their complete attention, our nervous system registers safety. Real safety. The kind that is increasingly hard to find. And when we feel safe, truly deeply safe, with another person, we open. We become more ourselves than we are anywhere else. And that feeling of being fully ourselves in someone's presence becomes addictive. We want to go back. We think about them when they are not there. We compare every subsequent interaction to how that one felt. This is not infatuation. This is the nervous system recognizing something rare and registering. Remember this. Find this again. The man with presence does not create obsession by being mysterious or unavailable. He creates it by being the opposite, by being so fully, completely there that every other man feels like an absence by comparison. Catherine ended up in a relationship with that man. She told me 6 months later, I finally understand what I was missing in my marriage. It wasn't love. We had love. It was this, being seen. I want to leave you with something. The trait we have been talking about, real, unhurried, genuine presence, is not just what makes a man irresistible. It is what makes any human being irresistible, including you. The woman who can give another person her complete attention, who can make someone feel like the most interesting person in the room, she has the same power. She creates the same pull. So as you go looking for this trait in the men around you, consider cultivating it in yourself. Because presence calls to presence. And the most captivating people in any room are always the ones who are most completely, genuinely there. If this resonated, if it named something you have been feeling but couldn't articulate, leave me a comment. Tell me about a man who had this, or tell me if you realize you have been searching for it without knowing what it was called. And if you know a woman who keeps falling for the same unavailable men and can't figure out why, share this with her. Because sometimes what we think we want and what we actually need are the same thing. We just needed someone to name it. Subscribe for more honest conversations every week. I'll see you in the next one.